Welcome to another Farming Simulator 19 Basics video. I'm Nick and I'm doing a beginner's guide to Farming Simulator 19 as it is one of the free games on PlayStation Plus this month, so there's going to be a lot of people out there wondering how to do one or two different things, trying it out for the first time. Basically, these videos are the ones that I wish I'd have watched when I first started the game. It would have made things so much easier for me. So, today we're talking about landscaping, placing placeables, your animal pens and things like that, and how not to ruin the area that you're working in. When you first place an animal pen, it can look like you've completely ruined the area, but there are ways around it, so that's what I'm going to show you. When I first started this game, I put a few hundred hours into doing arable farming, and then I decided I wanted to move on to livestock farming. So I bought Field 7 up by the biogas plant and tried to place some pens up there. My idea was that I was next to the biogas plant so I could easily ship the manure and the slurry into there, and I had access to the silage pits there. So yeah, like I said, I placed some animal pens on Field 7 and I didn't know about the landscaping, and basically by the end of it, trying to drive along the area was like riding a roller coaster, and it kind of ruined my game, and I ended up quitting that game and starting afresh. If I'd seen a video like this, maybe I would have been able to rescue the situation. So straight into it then, we're going to pop some animal pens down. We'll start off in placeables there, animal pens, and we'll go with a chicken coop. Now this first area that I'm going to put the chicken coop in is relatively flat anyway. If you look at the top left hand corner, it says it's $20,089. The chicken coop should be just $20,000, but it's trying to terraform some of the terrain so that the chicken coop will fit in there, so it's just added that $89 on. If I move it up here a little bit where I know it's less flat, it's trying to charge me $23,398. So for this example, I'm going to place it there. Obviously you'd probably go with where it's cheaper and you know it's already flat anyway. So there we go, we've popped it down there and you can see what it's done to the terrain. It's basically made a ridge all the way around the chicken coop, so it's on a nice flat area. Let's have a look at placing maybe a horse pen down there. So $50,000 the horse pen should cost, but that is trying to charge $86,710. So we know that the terraforming is going to be quite severe here. Let's have a look. And yeah, you're not going to be able to work with that at all. You need to be able to drive up to this horse pen to put your water and your food in there, put your straw in there, and yeah, it's just going to be impossible to work with. So yeah, we're going to try one more pen. We've got pig enclosure. We'll go with a sheep pasture, and that is $65,000 for the sheep pasture. Now we'll go over here. This is where the silo usually is, so we know it's reasonably flat. Now that's just trying to charge an extra $574 for the sheep pasture. We'll put that there. So it's done a little bit of terraforming, but not much. Okay, so what we're going to do now is have a look at the landscaping tool and how that is going to help. So before we do that, we'll have a look at the menu on the landscaping tool. And there we go. So first of all, we've got that dome there, and that is the area that you're going to be working on. So the menu, you've got raise by pressing X. I'm just going to move up to this field here and show you what happens. Now, you've got different brush sizes and brush strengths. So first of all, using the right thumbstick, I'm changing the brush size. If I press L1, now with the right thumbstick, I'm changing the brush strength, and both the strength and size is indicated at the bottom right hand corner of the screen there. So I'm going to start with a brush strength of 0.1, and I'm going to just tap raise, and there you go, you can see it's raised the land a little bit there. Now I'm going to change the brush strength to 3, which is the highest it will go. 0.1 is obviously the lowest, 3 is the highest. Tap it there and you can see the major difference there. Raise it up a little bit there and you've got Mount Everest right there. So we'll go to lower, which is the square button. At strength 0.1, it just makes a bit of a dip there. At strength 3, I think we're going to go with a Grand Canyon. Nope, sorry, I've just raised it. Okay, yeah, I was meant to lower it, wasn't I? There we go. I've just lowered it one there, and there we go. There's your Grand Canyon. I knew it had come. So, yeah, that is the different brush strengths. Now, going back to the menu. So, you've got raise and lower. We've covered that. Circle is back. Now, that is not an undo button, unfortunately. There is not an undo button on this game. All that does is take you back in the menu. So, yeah. We've got smooth, which I'm going to be using down here. So, we'll be talking about that in a moment. And we've got flatten, which I'm also going to be doing. So, we will be talking about that as well. You've got changed landscaping mode. L3. Now that changes it to painting mode. I'm not going to do much on the painting here, but I'll just very, very quickly show you. If you're using the right hand on the D-pad, the right button on the D-pad, if you look at the bottom right hand corner, it's just showing you the different things that you can paint on your land. So let's just say we wanted to make this field here into concrete. That area there, I press paint, and there you go. It's just made a bit of a path going along there. So yeah, you can basically make your area look however you want to do it. And yeah, that's basically the painting. So we're going to go back to sculpting. You can change the modification shape by pressing R3. You've got the square and you've got the dome. I find the dome is a little bit more natural when you've finished. So yeah, I like to use the dome, but you can use square if you wish. And that's basically it. Obviously, you've got rotate camera, change radius, which we've already spoken about, and move and camera zoom. And then L1 is to change the brush strength again. Okay, so that's the menu. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to make this area workable. The video will be far, far too long if I try doing it and talking through it as it is now. So what I'm going to do is put it onto time lapse and then do a voiceover once I've done that, and yeah, it'll basically show you how to do it and keep the video to a reasonable length. Okay then, the very first thing we are going to do is get to the height that the horse paddock is at, and just bring the flat area out more. I'm using the flatten button, R1 here, and like I said, all I'm doing, I press the R1 and I go around the pen, and it just brings all the area that I'm covering or that I'm going over to the same height, and that's just going to let me work with the gradient in a moment. Now, before you do this on your actual game that you might have put a lot of time into, I would recommend that you go onto a save game that you aren't using, buy the piece of land that you're working on, and practice on it, and keep practice on it. Go on to Farm Manager, because you'll have over £1 million in the bank right at the start, and you'll be able to afford to start doing this, to buy the land and start doing it and keep practicing. Because yeah, if you do it on your actual game and you get it wrong, things could be looking pretty bleak for you. But if you practice and you get it right, then you come onto your game, it's no issue at all. So what we're doing here now is using the triangle, the smooth button, and like I said earlier, we wanted to bring the flat area out so we could work on the gradient. So at the moment I am smoothing the gradient out and bringing the slope further out than the actual horse paddock, but that is letting me make the gradient a lot less, which basically allows me to drive up there and work around the area. So the other thing that I didn't mention earlier was the money that this costs. Now, I've gone back and had a look. Before I started terraforming, I had $416,702 in the bank, and when I finish terraforming, you'll be able to see for yourself in a moment, I'll have $383,835 in the bank. So it's cost me $32,867, which, to tell you the truth, isn't too bad. If you try doing this different ways, like flattening the whole land out first, it's going to cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. So yeah, this is the cheaper way of doing it. So we're nearly done here. I'll just get these last few pieces nice and smooth so we can drive up here. And yeah, we're going to go back to the real-time video and have a drive around and see what we've done. Okay then, I think we might have finished the landscaping now, so let's just have a quick drive around and see if it's now a workable area. Now, this is the horse paddock where it was absolutely unworkable. It was like a sheer cliff there, and yeah, as you can see, we can drive around quite easily. I think there was just a little bit there and a bit of a bump, but yeah, I could go back and flatten that out as well, or smooth it. Yeah, so that's the horse paddock, which we didn't think we'd be able to work with at all. It obviously took me a lot longer to do the horse paddock than it did the sheep pen here, because the sheep pen was nice and flat anyway, but now you can't even tell that there was any ridges there, maybe just a little bit there. And then up to the chicken coop, and yeah, I didn't spend very much time on the chicken coop. I could have spent a little bit more, but you can barely tell that it needed anything doing to it anyway. So yeah, you can just see where I went over onto the field a little bit when I slipped earlier, and yeah, it's taken away the field. If you wanted to grow anything there, you would have to replow it and, create field on the plow, and you'd be able to just re-go over that. So there you go. So yeah, there you go, guys. That is a little bit about landscaping. There is one more way of doing it, and that would be to flatten the land first, but I find that a lot more expensive and a bit more tricky. So yeah, this is the way I like to do it. Obviously, that's just my opinion. If you want to do it a different way, go for it. There's nothing stopping you doing that, but I find this the best way of doing things. So like I say, I hope you've got something from this video. And yeah, there's going to be plenty more videos going out over the near future to try and help you guys out. So you might want to think about subscribing, turning on notifications so you don't miss those videos. Guys, thanks very much for watching. Have an amazing day.